Hey everybody, I'm Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, Masters 25 Commander Set Review.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's episode 137 of the Commander's Brew.
Yep.
What's happening, Sean?
Oh, I am practicing perfect posture.
Oh yeah, you are. You're right at the top of the frame there.
Yeah. Is that, do we need, have I screwed up the video?
No, that's
okay,
fine.
Good.
I like encouraging, but it looks like I'm slouching, but I'm not. There we go.
Andy has we were doing some filming recently, and Kevin, the guy who's behind the camera, was like, "Are you closer to the camera?" It's like, "No, we're the same distance." Like, "Oh, because Sean is slouching so badly, it looks like he's farther away."
Yeah. Hello. That's right. We shot some things for the old YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, go check it out. Bunch of cool, funny sketches and bits on there now. Some characters coming back, some commanders and stuff like that.
And what we were filming was a very special thing.
That's right.
We always film a lot of fun videos in front of a hilarious green screen to put them in.
Hilarious green screen. The green screen is very funny. It tells the best jokes.
Oh, the green screen's hilarious. It's a bit off color.
Great.
Boo. Yes, jokes like that are what you can expect. But we've got a very, very huge announcement. We're going to do the regular business, and then after that, we're going to make a very important announcement, which is tied into all of this. But before we do, I want to tell you what we are and who we are. We're Commander's Brew.
Don't skip ahead. You'll want to hear this. You'll want to hear the thing we're going to say. Trust.
Yeah. Well, you know we're the Commanders. If this is your first time listening,
sure.
Then you know we do budget podcasts, but we wanted to just say, like, although we do a budget podcast, we're not just for budget players. So
That's
if you
true.
got a couple of like non-budget players who are just like F those guys, then it's like, well, man, maybe send us their way, because like we have fun deck builds and non-budget upgrades and stuff like that. It's really for everyone.
It's about the story of the game. It's about creating fun decks, and I mean, you guys know, if you're listening to the show, you already know this, but those players who are not necessarily budget players still have plenty to find here at the Commander's Brew with our the surprise and discovery section of the show, and just the brews in general. I think there's some here for a lot of Commander players, and they might not necessarily know it, just because we do like to push a budget theme on the show, just because that's kind of that was the whole point of it for us.
Yeah. Great. So normally we'll do a deck a week. This week is a little bit different. We're going to feature a lot of the M25. Oh boy, I almost took 10 years off of it.
Masters 25.
Masters 25, which is, so we'll do a set review on sets that come out from a Commander perspective. We're not going to talk about every card. We're going to talk about the ones that are especially fun for our format, maybe a few surprises and discoveries that I hadn't thought about brewing around, but also we're going to highlight ones that have dropped in price that like we love putting in decks that have been a bit pricey. So here's a good chance to pick them up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
also brought to you by, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also always brought to you by Ultimate Guard Sleeves and Boxes, Wizard Tower, wizardtower.com, and our wonderful patrons. Always big news coming up in this regard. We'll have another. I can't wait to talk about it. Let's hear the ad from the Wizard Tower.
Yeah, here's the ad.
Let's hear. Ladies and gentlemen, here on Ixalan, in the next few months, another release album from your favorite boy band, the 4 Forerunners. The 4 Forerunners are here to bring you their sweet, sweet hits about young romance and dinosaurs and vampires and pirates and merfolk. You'd think they wouldn't get along, but they do, in perfect harmony. That's right, you can buy their CDs anywhere you still can buy CDs. And you can buy magic cards at the Wizard's Tower, wizardtower.com. Use coupon code ILOVEBREWS to get 5% off your order of singles. And If you order $15 in singles or more, you get them shipped anywhere in Canada for free. Not only that, you get 3% kickback on your next order. Order now. Supplies are limited on CDs because they are going obsolete. Yes.
Another classic. Yes, we agree or disagree with what that guy was saying.
What that guy or monster was saying.
Yeah. Great. Okay, Sean, let's get to the big announcement. Here it is. This is very exciting. So, we, as the Commander's Brew, are launching our very first Kickstarter.
Yep.
Which is cool. And what's that Kickstarter for, Sean?
It's for a new video series that will be weekly on YouTube of us and our hilarious pals playing real Commander. It'll be gameplay videos.
That's right. So if you are a fan of such excellent Commander videos like Game Nights and Commander Versus, that is the style in which we're going to be bringing you these shows. So we'll be seeing, like Sean said, Commander games play out in front of you with 4 players, and with an emphasis on us, the players, and the fun banter that happens between each other, as you all know as Commander players. And we're launching a Kickstarter to get the word out and to allow fans and listeners of the show and people who want to be involved to get in on the ground floor and get some neat rewards and perks and that sort of thing, and even perhaps be a part of the show itself. So
yeah. So we're gonna make it official April 3rd. So that's the day the Kickstarter goes live. That'll be your chance to nab those limited rewards. And until then, we'll just be talking it up. If I may say, I laugh a lot when we play Commander because, the people we play with are very funny people. So why not? Let's bring that to you guys.
That's right. So in case you didn't know this, Sean and I are comedians, improvisers, sketch comedians, and we play Magic with other, not entirely all comedians, but we play Magic with other comedians as well. And so it works out to being a very fun time and a good thing. And we were like, you know what? We've been brewing these decks for over 2 years now.
Over 2 years.
It's time we put a couple of those into play and show people what they look like playing against the people that we play Magic with all the time. And that also, though, could very well include other community members, people from from out of town, if that ever happens, bringing people specifically to come do the show. So, yeah, you might be wondering, why are we doing a Kickstarter? Why don't we just do that? Well, it involves a lot of extra, gear and things like that. It also involves a lot of extra time, of which we would really like to dedicate to the show. So that's why we want to do a modest Kickstarter to help us put the proper time and effort and get the right stuff to put it together. So
yeah, get that. I mean, I guess that is why it's called Kickstarter. We want to kickstart the project,
exactly.
Get it rolling.
Exactly.
It's going to be a weekly show. We're going to bring you a game a week.
Or
maybe
if
two, if it's super short, if it's a 2-turn game, or
it's
for
like,
some
oh,
reason.
you comboed out? How did you do that? None of us ever do that. But in case that does happen, you can be promised that there will be more games played after this.
Yeah, and we're going to bring you the style of decks that we tend to brew. So these are not going to be turn 4 win kind of games. This is not going to be hyper competitive. It's going to be focused around the fun decks, fun stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of stuff you've come to know and love about our style of Commander. Not necessarily budget decks, though. I will say that.
We're gonna put a few more bucks in.
Yeah, we may have some challenges here and there when it comes to budget type stuff, and we'll definitely be featuring decks that we've built on the show for sure. Maybe with some upgrades, we'll see. We might just run them out like we've built them. And I think it's at this point where we should probably say the name of the show that we've landed on.
Oh, yeah. We're going to call it Commander's Brawl.
Right, everyone? Am I right? Commander's Brawl. Just like the Brew and Brawls that we haven't done for a while. But it's kind of built out of that idea because we wanted to, bring more Commander games to you guys without the like super long kind of drawn out way that Magic Online kind of tends to do it. So we figured this is a good way.
Yeah, Magic Online just is bad for...
It's not great for Commander, unfortunately. But anyways, that is our huge announcement. April 3rd, you'll be able to get in on that Kickstarter. And so please, in between now and then, we'll be sending out some tweets and some videos and things like that to help promote it. We're going to be on other shows talking about it. So, whenever you see something like that, sharing is, if you're not in a financial space to be able to donate, that's totally fine. We totally understand. But if you want to help out still, you can just share those links, those videos and things like that. Share this episode if you want. That will be an immense help for us to get the show going, up and running.
Yeah, great. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's get into this episode then.
Okay. We'll have one. We got one rivalry beef to take care of near the end of the episode that we're gonna call some folks out that need calling out.
Oh, we are gonna do that. Oh, okay. I thought you said we were gonna do that later.
Maybe we could do it at the end of. I don't know.
I thought you meant we were gonna do it on a different episode, but we can do it now.
Yeah, let's do it both. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So we've been called out. If you guys are listening to the Commander Cookout podcast, they called us out. Ryan and Brando over there called us out to brew some Atraxa decks in GP Las Vegas and have like a big alternative Atraxa battle. So I guess as they like to do, I guess F you Ryan, F you Brando, we accept, and we're gonna take you downtown.
Take you downtown Toronto, babies.
Yeah, right.
To the Sky Dome and Ripley's Aquarium.
Yeah, when you're done looking out at the horizons of the prairies and seeing literally nothing, we'll see you in a real. Las Vegas is the realest city. It is entirely artificial. But we'll be on more home turf because we're used to being around tall things.
I was gonna say we'll be on more home turf because there will be buildings with more than 4 stories.
Yeah, right? Yeah, man. Get ready.
Sorry, there's no Wheat Kings where we're going, brothers. It's all concrete and McDonald's is.
Yeah, welcome to our world.
Welcome to our world. The fabricated hell that is the concrete jungle.
Yeah, and,
Cue guns
and while we're here, F you, Joel.
F you, Joel. Yeah, great. So yeah, we're gonna get in on that, and might even do a little bit of a call out of our own. In fact, I believe we will, but we'll that'll be coming up. So keep an eye peeled on that one. I want to know, how do they land on Atraxa? Why does everyone have to do Atraxa? I don't get it.
I mean, I know that I think it stems from their they did a series where they did like alternate brews of stuff like that, and their alternate Atraxa. They're very excited to do an Atraxa that is not like every other Atraxa deck.
Super Friends, in fact.
Yeah, like just to throw you can do another thing with Atraxa.
Are those the 2 main things anyone does with Atraxa? I guess so, right?
Yes.
Super Friends and in fact.
Yep.
Anyways, okay, well, we'll definitely do something different than that. Great. Let's actually get to the show.
Yes. Right.
Masters 25. So we had some big announcements, but the big announcement was that Masters 25 is happening, and there's lots of cool reprints in here. A lot of good Commander content. Going to bring some prices down, which we love.
Love it.
So yeah, let's just dive right in.
Cool. Let's start with some legendaries.
Yep.
These are some legendaries that, maybe you're thinking about brewing around. We're going to make a couple that maybe seem okay to brew around, or that are especially interesting, or that just we haven't thought about in a while. I'm going to start with sort of the way they came up on the thing. Akroma, Angel of Wrath. 5 white for a legendary angel. 6/6 flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from black and from red. This is a very strong card. If the fancy Avacyn is a little bit out of your budget, this can be a fun giant white angel to brew around. I'm not sure if you would rather have the Audric as the leader and Akroma in as backup so that everyone gets all these things.
Right, Audric Lunarch Marshal, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one's the better commander and which one's the better lieutenant in this case.
I would assume it's Audric, and this is a 99 card for him, probably, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Acroma is better suited in the 99, just because like 8 is a lot for a
Yeah.
commander.
Yeah.
But it's still a good card and is something that will be dropping in price.
I'm excited to reanimate this.
Was this card expensive? Probably not that expensive, eh?
I mean, not that expensive, but it was a little out of our budget.
Right on. Cool. Well, yeah, Chroma's back, and in more ways than one,
Right.
as you'll see in a second. Next is one of my personal favorites. I have this deck, Darien, King of Kieldor, which is great because he was slowly creeping up in price ever since I've picked him up. So it's nice to see him get a reprint. Darien is 4 white. He's a 3/3 human. Oh, wait, no, he's been errated. He's not a human lord. He's a human soldier. And whenever you're dealt damage, you may create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. So I love this guy as a interesting and like kind of non-traditional build for like soldier tokens. For mono white, obviously. You build a deck with a lot of hitting yourself and things like that, so it comes at it from a different angle than normal, and it also deters attacks against you. He's a powerful commander. Let me tell you, he's a good one, and a lot of fun to run as well.
I looked up like if there were a lot of new cards that damage ourselves in white or colorless for if you had this deck, and there isn't a ton of white or colorless cards that seem to be built for Darien.
Yeah.
But one thing that came out since then, I believe, is the idea of the Monarch. I think the Monarch is very interesting for Darien because,
yes.
people gonna want to attack you and go ahead try and attack me.
That is interesting. I didn't even think of that. That's great. Yeah. You're going to want to put that Monarch land in your Darien decks for sure.
And the white one, there's a knight that...
Yeah,
ironically, the knight prevents all damage that is dealt to you. So it goes to the knight instead.
It redirects him. So you don't want that.
But, I mean, it might not be bad to just grab the Monarch and then... Because, I mean, it prevents all combat damage, I think. I don't know. I got to look it up now.
Anyways, Darien, definitely Monarch still works very well with Darien. So, and for all of you out there with Pillow Fort decks, Darien's a great Pillow Fort commander because it again deters attacks against you. This guy's going to drop in price too. It looks like he's like kind of halved in price since he's come out, which is nice since the M25 announcement. Who else we got here?
We got Jalira, Master Polymorphist, 3 and a blue for a legendary human wizard, 2/2. She's got an ability, 2 blue, tap, sacrifice another creature, and then you basically reveal from the top of your library till you find another non-legendary and put that into the battlefield. So she polymorphs things. And it's just, like, I love this ability. I love putting her in the 99 of more than blue decks. Mm-hmm. But I just think in a mono blue deck, this is, it's so awkward. If only she was another color in there.
Yeah, because it's like it's that classic problem of wanting to have a bunch of little creatures to polymorph into bigger ones, but if you polymorph a little one into a little one, that's not good. And she can only do it one time. Anyways, it's a very neat card and a neat. I think there is a fun commander deck there somewhere, but I think it's better suited in the 99. Yeah, Alessandra Vitae, Master Polymorphist. Okay, great.
It is Alessandra.
Fellow comedian and friend of ours, Alessandra, who I believe subscribes to this podcast.
She does. I mean, unless she cleaned up her podcast feed and eventually deleted it.
Mm-hmm. Great. So I mentioned Akroma's back in more than one way, and here she is again, Akroma, Angel of Fury. She's the 5 red version of Akroma. So 8 mana still. This time it's all red for the legendary Angel, 6/6. She can't be countered. She has flying, trample, protection from white and from blue. You can pay 1 red, and she has fire breathing, so +1/+0. And she's a morph creature, though. She comes down as a morph, and you can unmorph her for 3 red. So a little bit of a... it's the same... it's 1 more, but a little more accessible if you don't have that... you don't have it all at once there.
I'm not sure how... And then, so that can be a way to, like, get around commander tax if it's getting too expensive. You could cast as a morph. Is that how it works? Can you cast a commander as a morph? I'm not sure.
I think you can, but I think the commander tax adds 2, So it would still affect the morph. So like the second time you cast her, if you wanted to morph it, I'm assuming it would cost 5.
It would cost 5, right? And so then you could morph her up for the same price every
But
time.
then you could morph her out for. So you're still paying the commander tax. You know what I mean?
I'm
You're
not
not
sure.
you're not avoiding it. You're just doing it in installments, kind of,
Yeah.
which is
You're not
better.
avoiding it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just think so I mean rules that we are unsure of aside, I think a Chroma is a decent mono red sort of Voltron-y commander
Yeah.
because she can pump herself up. She's got protection from white and blue, which is the most flying colors.
Yeah.
Like these are the colors that will have the most flying defense in theory.
Hmm.
Yeah, she can pump herself up automatically and just throw. And then red has a good ability to like double its mana, get extra red mana, um, doing double damage. I think I think there's a decent red Voltron deck in here.
Interesting. Yeah, cool. Also, though, very good in 99 decks where you want that crazy huge flyer with all kinds of weird protection and stuff.
Yeah.
Who's next?
We got Grenzo, Dungeon Warden, a classic reprint. This guy's always been cheap. He's even cheaper, but he's fun. X, black, red, Goblin Rogue, 2/2, but he enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, and you can pay 2, put the bottom card of your library into your graveyard, and if it's a creature with power less than or equal, you put it onto the battlefield. Now, a lot of these decks are fairly on rails. Like, there's sort of like a standard, like, this is the best 2-power creature that does crazy things in Rakdos. And I only bring it up because I feel like this means we should break him. We should do something different with him.
Yeah.
We should figure out another angle.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Doomsday is also in the set, which I know is a popular pair with Grenzo.
Yes.
Like that's a
Yes.
deck kind of. So you can do that, I guess. I love the ability on Grenzo because it's like kind of a neat and weird ability, and you don't see it all that often. So that's fun.
Yeah.
But I've never really been stoked about Grenzo as a commander personally. Maybe it's just because he's in red, black. I don't know.
They're tough colors. They're tough colors for this.
Like I think it is a good commander, and I think it's like an interesting one. I know it's not just the same stuff you see from red and black all the time, so I definitely like that about him.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about him specifically that didn't ever really jump out at me, but I think this is good. I mean, it's kind of weird that it's being reprinted in this set. A little bit. Like, why? Why is it reprinted? I don't know. But anyways, he's been around from Conspiracy, so you probably already have a version of this because it's cheaper. This guy's not really seeing a price drop or anything.
Because he was already so cheap.
Exactly. And the same goes for the next one here, Niv Mizzet, the Firemind. Not much to say here. Niv Mizzet's a classic commander. Great deck. Lots of fun. This is the original Niv Mizzet, so it's the one that deals damage whenever you draw a card, as opposed to the other way around. And you tap
and you don't have to pay mana to do it.
Exactly. So yeah, great card, but like has been for a while quite cheap. So
yeah,
not much to say.
We got a Stang reprint.
This is interesting. Stang.
Very interesting.
And new art.
Yeah, we finally get to see what this guy looks like under the helmet.
Because he, if you're watching the YouTube version, he looks like this. This weird, Mark Poole, there's Mark Poole lovers out there who love Mark Poole's art, but I personally think this looks like my friend in grade 6 drew it. But anyways,
like the perspective is wrong. There's something like the way he's holding that sword. It doesn't. It's not right.
Don't love it. Anyways, the new Stang looks really cool.
Yeah, I couldn't do better than Mark Poole, but
no, for sure I couldn't. Much respect.
So Stang is a 3/4 human warrior for 4 red green. Oh, that's so expensive. When he enters the battlefield, you get a legendary 3/4 red and green human warrior creature token named Stang Twin, and they both sort of like can't leave each other's side. If one of them leaves the battlefield, the other one also leaves the battlefield.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice and or exile depending on which one it is. But I think the coolest part is now we get a real Stang token.
Yeah.
You get to see it for real.
That's going to be cool for sure. And here's something that I was wondering about Stang, and now I'm happy to see this actually. I thought the Stang Twin token was also legendary, but it's not.
Oh, you can make multiple.
Oh no! Wait, no, never mind. I am wrong. It does. There it is. Create a legendary 3/4 red and green human warrior creature token. Sorry, there's so much text on this card. I lost the word legendary in there. So that sucks. That means you can't even like double up his tokens or abuse that at all. Stang's
And
an
the
old
worst part is,
an old card, man.
if you have any sort of token doublers, the token will copy itself,
Yeah.
and one of them will have to be exiled, and that will trigger all the other ones to exile themselves too.
And him, right?
Yes, yes. Stang will see his twin die and he'll be like, "Well, gotta go."
Oh, what a mess. You can't even come close. You don't even want to do that at all.
No, you can't.
Stang is, let's say it. Stang is
Suck.
bad. He's not good. You might be
Stang
able to
more
build
like
like a fun,
stank.
like, yeah, stank. Exactly. You might be able to build like a fun, like old school deck around him, like using like older cards, and that's kind of like a fun theme to do.
That's fun.
But like Stang's no good though.
We can have that fun.
You can
Yeah,
have that fun for sure.
I mean, if we do an alternate, just like grumpy bald guys, he's good for a grumpy bald guy.
He's a grumpy ball guy for sure. Yeah, instead of screaming ball guys.
Yeah. Just like one step down.
We should do a bad art deck.
My God, we should.
I mean, it's kind of brutal to be like, hey, artists, your art is bad, but you know, whatever. I don't know.
We're just gonna criticize something you put a lot of work into.
There is some bad art though in Magic the Gathering. We all know that.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think we should do that actually. I think that'd be fun.
Okay.
The original Stang's definitely on there. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And there he is, Nicol Bolas, our boy.
Yeah, that's our boy. Very expensive too. Blue, black, red. Elder, one of the OG Elder Dragons. 7/7 flying at the beginning of your upkeep. Sacrifice Nicol Bolas unless you pay blue, black, red. And whenever he deals damage to an opponent, that player discards his or her hand. Bum, bum, bum.
So you get a big effect. You get a big for a big cost, but you also get this big upkeep fee, which sucks.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's bad.
That's
but
crazy.
But of the Elder Dragons, Nicol Bolas is kind of the best of the old crew.
You are for sure biased.
Yeah, we are biased, and I did notice they forgot to draw the little construction hat on him.
We'll have to alter it. We'll have to.
This isn't new art, I know, but like, yeah, they did forget that construction hat. We will have to tell someone about that. Yeah, Nicol Bolas, we brewed around this guy before. He's a fun commander, but it's like, oof, 8. That's a lot.
Price 8.
And oh yeah, this.
Yeah, you take it.
What happened here? Zadahedron Grinder. Very fun commander. Very fun card to have in the 99. 3 and a red, 3/3, legendary goblin ally. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery spell that targets only Zadahedron Grinder, copy that spell for each other creature you control that the spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. And it's an uncommon?
Yeah.
Oh?
I guess if anyone plays like Pauper, or what is it, like the commander where you use uncommons as your commander and all the cards are commons, like that's awesome.
So Pauper commander uses commons only for the 99, but you can have any uncommon creature, right, as your commander.
Any uncommon creature, legendary or otherwise.
Right. So Zadahedron Grinder. I mean, that opens up that for those players, which is fun. But what an interesting choice to put this guy at uncommon. I'm sure it's a draft thing. But you know, hey, for those of you with peasant cubes, you can now include Zadahedron Grinder in them. Cool.
Yeah, nice.
All right. So those are the main legendaries that we wanted to talk about. But there's a couple more that are still like out of budget basically for our show, but we still wanted to talk about them because they're going to be enjoying some very big price drops.
Yeah, arguably these are the more main commanders in the set. But these are the ones that are getting significant money drops, ones we've been thinking about for a while. Let's start with Azusa, Lost But Seeking, 2 and a green, human monk, 1/2. You may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. Huge mono green commander. Used to be like $35, dropped to under 20. Could drop a little bit more maybe, but once the set gets released. So like, you know, if you've always kind of wanted one but thought it was a bit out of your price range, you know, I would consider dropping a $20 bill on this.
I consider it as well. It's a very powerful effect, obviously, but this is going to be snatched up by modern players also. So if I don't know if you get it now, like you pre-order it, because you know what? Here's the thing. I think if you pre-order it, you might see the price dip a little bit more, but it's eventually going to get right back up to at least like $25.
Maybe, maybe not, because it was only in Champions of Kamigawa and a weird Judge
That's
foil.
true. Yeah, you know what? That is a
So
good point, actually. That's a very good
supply
point.
was very
Very
limited.
low. Yep. You know what? You're right about that. So this could actually drop down a bit more, although it is a pretty big card in Modern for those decks. What are they called?
Are they Titan Shift? I don't know.
I don't know anything about Modern. Okay.
I know
Uh,
there's a deck that has Prime Time in it that wants to play
yeah.
tons of lands.
Yeah, right? And they come in untapped and it's like a it's not Lantern, that's a different thing. It's
Oh,
oh,
or is
Bloom.
this
Bloom, something Bloom.
yeah,
Summer Bloom?
Amulet Bloom
Amulet Bloom?
minus the amulet the one band card.
The amulet's the one that's banned, or is it? Yeah, so the bloom's
I don't know.
not banned. Whatever. Who knows?
I don't know
What a,
Modern.
what an interesting podcast it would be to listen to us talk about Modern. Is that
Oh
what
my
it is?
god.
I don't know. Is that it? I don't know. Terrible.
Instead of Masters of Modern, we'll launch the Idiots of
Idiots of
Modern.
Modern. I think this is banned, but I don't know.
We don't
Dummies
even
of
know the
Modern.
band list.
Yeah, we have no idea. Great show to listen to. Okay, so Zusa, like a great commander card though, for sure. Next, one of the all-time greats of Commander, Animar, is being reprinted here. Blue, red, green Teamer for the 1/1 legendary elemental that has protection from white and from black. Cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Animar, and then creatures you cast cost 1 generic less to cast for each +1/+1 counter on Animar. So just one of the all-time most powerful commanders, combo-y commander, but you can also build like fun, weird versions with morph and just swinging creatures. It's got it all. There's a little something for everybody when it comes to Animar. So it's a awesome commander. Only printed before this from the original Commander set back in 2011.
Yeah.
So its price was up around $28, almost $30. Now that's cut right in half, down to around 15.
Yep.
And that's
Good.
right now. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a mythic, so it's a mythic from a set that's not going to be drafted all that much. So like, is this going to be one that's going to stick around this price? I kind of think so. So I think that if you want to pick up Animars, I think you probably should.
Animar's very fun.
Yeah, and
It's a very fun deck.
yeah, it's a fun deck, and there are less powerful commanders with more reprints that cost more than $15. So
Yeah.
I would consider getting Animar at this price.
Cool. One more price drop. This was not super expensive because they do reprint her once in a while. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight, 4 red, white, white for a legendary angel, 5/5, flying in first strike. All your stuff does double damage. All their stuff does half damage. So it's very, very powerful commander card. And it always goes back up to like $8 to $10. But it's back down to $4. So like, get one now before it goes back up to $10.
Yeah, this one we've seen this happen before, where it gets a limited reprint in, like, I think it was in one of the commander sets. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it dropped in price nicely. People who wanted it probably got it then, and then it kind of crawled back up. So I would expect the same thing to happen here. Us commander players are going to slowly get these back in our collection, and then that's going to drive the price back up around where it was before. So yeah, I think this one is another like safe bet. Pick this one up now or within the first week that the set's released, I'd say.
Great.
Huge.
That's it for the
that weird silence.
Highlight
For our audio listeners, that weird silence was Sean and I both giving huge thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it for legendaries. Let's move on to some cards. We're going to start with...
You know what? I just wanted to mention this real quick. Prosh is also in the set, which is another like specific commander reprint. But that card is not expensive and very, very good, and just, you've kind of always been able to get Prosh at a very
never
easily.
Was expensive, never will be.
Yeah, exactly. Huge. Okay, powerful commander though. Next, we're going to talk about some lands.
Okay, one uncommon land that they're giving us is Ash Barrens. This only appeared in Commander 2016, and it shot up to like $4 or $5. It is a land, tap, add colorless to your mana pool. So it comes in untapped, it gives you colors, but also has basic land cycling 1. So you can cycle it for 1 generic and take any basic out of your deck. It's a great fixer card. And it probably shouldn't be $4. Like if this was ever in any regular set for for regular draftable set, this card should probably be like 50 cents, like a Terramorphic Expanse or an Evolving Wilds. Yeah. But just it's a supply and demand thing.
Yeah.
Every commander deck probably would consider it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason this card is the real reason why this card is like $4 is because of Pauper, right? Like this card's running Pauper. Is that why?
I guess
And
because then they would want 4 copies of
yeah,
it, and it was only ever in a commander set.
coupled with the fact that it only had one printing, it had kind of. I mean, I might be wrong about that. I think I remember someone telling me that though. That's why this card's
That could be
expensive.
true. Yeah.
So yeah, this should affect the price nicely if you want to get some Ash Barons.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. They're probably going to be very cheap because it's a common.
Yeah.
And next,
It's an uncommon in this set, though.
oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. All right. Well, anyways, Cascade Bluffs is one of the filter lands, which we'll be seeing reprints of. Now, I'm just gonna. Right. So we haven't seen a reprint of the filter lands since like the expeditions, which don't really count. So this is the first one in a long time. So these cards ranged obviously as lands tend to do. Somewhere some as low as $15, some as high as like 40 or more.
That's the old prices.
Yeah, those are the previous prices, and now they're going to be in that $10 to $15 range so far as we've been able to see. This is great because these are good for Commander. They do the trick. They're the lands that, in case you're not familiar with them, they come into play untapped. You can tap them for colorless, but you can also pay one of the two colors of they are. So, for example, Cascade Bluffs is the red-blue land. You can pay red or blue. It's a hybrid, and tap it, and you add any combination of blue-blue, red-blue, or red-red. So you can add 2 mana of any of those combinations to your mana pool. So it essentially acts as an untapped dual land as long as you already have one of those colors.
Yeah, which is very strong.
Which is
right?
good.
We like
Yeah,
those.
very, very
I
good.
feel like if you want to consider, like, is it worth paying the money for it if you have to consider budget, I think these cards are especially good in decks. I wouldn't necessarily go 5-color for them, but I think they're good in 2 or 3-color decks that have hefty mana costs, like a deck that needs like triple blue or triple red at times, because these help turn one of your colors into 2 of the other color.
Right. Good call. Yeah. Yeah. For that reason, maybe the black ones are especially attractive because if you're running, because a lot of black cards will have that like like many black pips in the mana cost. That might be very helpful for Commander. But these are good cards. I mean, who knows if I'll actually get any of these, but they're definitely good.
Yeah, I don't predict I will go out and purchase any. They're just, to me, they're just like luxury buys for decks that's like, oh, I might want, it's like a heated steering wheel. It's like, I don't need them, but I might want one.
Yeah, maybe. If I open one, I'm probably going to keep it as opposed to like sell it or something. Like,
Oh, for sure. But
if I even end up drafting this
if I
set.
open a pack.
Yeah, right. If I open a pack of this.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What else?
Going to colorless cards. Colorless cards, they're up next because they go in any deck you want. And then we're getting a reprint of Coalition Relic. This is one of the better mana rocks, and it has crept up above $10 or so. Now it's halved. Could drop even lower. It's a rare. 3 generic for an artifact. So you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. What? That's the same as most other 3 mana rocks. But here's the catch. With Coalition Relic, you can tap to put a charge counter on it, and at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you remove all the charge counters and add 1 mana of any color for each charge counter. So you can kind of get 2 mana on a turn from this.
Yeah, exactly. The turns you need it, the turns you don't need it, it sits there and is just a regular mana rock because you take the counter off, you add the 1 color, and then on your opponent's end step, you tap it to add the counter back on, and so on. But then those turns where you actually need that extra mana, you take the charge counter off, and you can also tap it to add mana to your mana pool, which is great.
Right.
Not to mention the fact that if you have some way of like routinely adding more than 1 counter to this, whether it's doubling the counters or something like that, you can get even more mana from this thing each turn. So like
the new art is gorgeous too.
Like if you play this in a black-green deck with that snake from Kaladesh.
Right?
Yeah, you'll be adding 2 charge counters, so that'll be that's really cool.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, this is a good Commander card. This is a great mana rock. It's been just too much money for us to even consider for the show, certainly. But now that it's getting a bit of a price drop, $5 is still like kind of a lot, but it's still, it's within range at least now. So this is one to consider for sure. Stronic Resonator is our next colorless card. It's the 2-mana artifact that you pay 2 and tap it to copy a target triggered ability you control, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So this is I remember when this came out, I was like, this is a great card. Like, this is going to be a huge commander card. This copies so many sweet abilities, and slowly over time it did climb up to be around it was like $6-7 I think at one point. Yeah. So this will drop it right back down to 2. So if you have decks that care about triggered abilities, it's a great include. It's a great thing to have in like an ETB deck or anything like that. It's really good.
Yeah, man. ETBs, Stronic Resonators. Get them while they're cheap. And then they gave us a reprint of Swiftfoot Boots. I'm only putting this here. It's a 2 generic. Equipped creature has Hexproof and Haste. Equipped for 1. Yes, we love Swiftfoot Boots. They're great. Could you please do Lightning Greaves sometimes, Wizards? Please, sometimes do Lightning Greaves instead of Swiftfoot Boots?
I do like the inclusion of Swiftfoot Boots here. Of course, I would have loved Greaves as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But the fact that Swiftfoot Boots was climbing up to be almost $1 is like concerning. So I'm glad that it's printed. I'm glad that it gets a print in a set, not necessarily just like a commander set or something.
Sure. Bring it back down to a gumball. Fine.
Yeah.
But like, Wizards, please.
Yeah, Wizards, please. Wizards, please. Wizards, please.
Wizards, pulls.
That does it for the colorless cards. Let's talk about some of the white cards now, starting with...
Oh, yeah.
Akroma's Vengeance.
Akroma's Vengeance for... Did I read the last one? I don't remember who read the last one. It's a wrath.
You did it, yeah. Oh.
I'll read... I'm already in it. I'll keep going.
It's cool. Go for it.
We got lots of cards. 4 white sorcery. Destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. And it has cycling for 3. Cycling is always useful on cards we want. We want wraths. This is more than a wrath because it also hits artifacts and enchantments, which is usually a good thing. Like usually we want that. So it's of course going to drop in price. It is now like about a gumball. So yeah, grab a couple.
It is? It's that cheap? Holy, it is.
I mean, it says 39 cents according to this.
Yeah, wow. This is a good wrath. Like, this is really good.
Yeah, and if you have more artifacts and enchantments than everyone else, maybe you cycle it away for another card. Great.
Yeah. And there's a lot of 5-mana wraths these days. Like, we've seen Fumigate and and Hostilities and that sort of thing.
Hollowed Burial.
Yeah. I think that one's not 5, is it?
I think it's 5.
Hollow
I'm going to look it up.
Okay, maybe it is, yeah. And that was reprinted fairly recently, I think, in a conspiracy set. So the fact that this is 6 takes a little bit of a hit, but that cycling is going to be nice when you need it. Although I think in Commander, mostly I'm content to hang on to my wraths, right? Like, unless I really, really, really don't need it.
Yeah.
But I'm usually up for hanging on to one, even if I'm ahead.
But man, I'll take that cycling.
Sure.
It's free.
It's a nice bonus to have for sure.
Yeah.
Next we have one that for some reason Sean's excited to talk about. It's Armageddon. 3 and a white for a sorcery that says destroy all lands.
Just bring it here because you know who you are. That's all.
What?
You know who you are.
What does that mean? What?
You know who you are.
What are you talking about?
Armageddon. If you're listening and you're like excited about this reprint, you know who you are.
Oh, okay, all right.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't think Armageddon was all that expensive before, but it's nice. It's down to $3 now, so it's if you want to destroy mass lands, if you want to be that person, go ahead. Just make sure you win. Just make sure you shortly win thereafter.
Yes.
That's all we ask.
I would like to put it in a deck that has blue, so that on the last player's end step I can Cyclonic Rift, and then on my main phase I can Armageddon, and then I have all the things and nobody has anything.
That's awful. That's
just once. I want to do that one time.
That's terrible.
I know who I am.
You know who you are, exactly. You know who you are. Okay. This one's interesting.
Okay, you take this one.
Okay, Luminarch Ascension, 1 and a white for an enchantment that says at the beginning of each opponent's end step, if you didn't lose a life this turn, you may put a quest counter on Luminarch Ascension, and then you can pay 1 and a white to put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield, and you can activate this ability only if Luminarch Ascension has 4 or more quest counters on it. Listen, this card is very good if you get it out early in the game. It's a turn 2 Luminarch Ascension is just tough to deal with. You know, if you don't have that enchantment destruction in your hand at the beginning of the game, that player just starts pumping out 4/4 angels. And even then, if you do get your enchantment destruction in a turn or two, sometimes that's just not enough. Like by then they've made 4-6 angels, and that can just be enough to win the game right there.
Yeah. I resolved one of these in a game on my second turn.
Yeah. I think I was in this game.
You were in this game. It was ready to go. Like,
yep.
By the time it got back to me, basically.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Basically every time that's going to happen. And even if one person can get a swing in and, take you off one of the counters, it often does not even matter.
You got to make me wait one turn.
Because you can instant speed make the angels. Like if it was like only do it as a sorcery, that would be something. But no, it's like, okay, fine. I'll just wait till a different turn to make the angels,
Yeah, no problem.
Ooh, man, this card's good. So good, in fact, that I actually took it out of my tokens deck. I had it in a Tristani deck. I think I took it out because whenever you get it down on turn 2, it's like, well, I'm pretty much going to win now. And then if you don't, if later in the game, the card does get worse later in the game, because if you don't have a lot of protection set up, everyone is going to it makes everyone attack you every turn because they don't want you to get the counters on it. So it's a high variance card that creates a lot of problems / solves problems because you just win right away. I don't know, but I mean, like it. If your meta spiky and you need to have something this scary down on turn 2, I mean, great news. Here comes Luminarch Ascension.
Here it comes.
What's next? Oh, this is
and we got
always happy to see this one.
Another Swords to Plowshare reprint. Let's keep it down at around $1. Thank you, Wizards, doing this right.
Yeah, doing this right. Although I will say this, I'm not complaining about the edition of Swords to Plowshares. I think it's great. Love that they're reprinting it a lot. Would have liked to see a Path to Exile here.
Wizards, please.
But you know what? If this is the alternative, I'll happily take it. And
yes.
I'm still very happy to have a swords in every white deck. Finally, That is a reality for us. We should now, as budget brewers, we should be including these in basically all of our white decks, right?
You really should.
Yeah, it's down to $1.
Really
thing is it always pops back up to like $2 or $3, and then when we're doing the budget thing where we go through the deck list to like, okay, I gotta cut, I gotta shave, $1 out of this deck, which means I have to cut a card and then add another one that's less. It's like. Swords. It's just so easy to take swords out and put in something that's like just not as good as it.
It's so boring.
But it's such a great card. In real life, you would never cut it, right?
Never.
It's
just the most efficient at what it does, and since we don't care that much about life total, it has almost no drawback.
All right. Well, anyways, Swords of Plowshare is always good. On to blue.
Blue cards. I just include this because I know a lot of lists run this.
Yeah.
Arcane Denial. 1 in a blue for an instant. Counter target spell. Its controller may draw up to 2 cards at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. And then you draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So you do get to draw a card. Your opponent gets to draw 2. So you've taken 1 card away from him casting. And then they get to draw 2 cards. And you get to draw 1 card. So it's sort of weird. It's sort of like they get the card advantage on it, but it counters everything. Mm-hmm. So in a clutch, it's a 2 mana, no restriction counter, which, if you play it, I think this is better for more competitive metas.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I think, and it's weird to say that because you're like, well, wait, aren't you giving that player a huge advantage? It's like, well, when this spell stops the player from winning the game that turn or from playing some insane, when you stop I don't know, a Narset or a Consecrated Sphinx or some card that is just going to provide so much advantage to them, it's worth giving them an extra card for, right? Like,
yeah,
if you stop their commander or something, the turn they're going to just win with it for sure.
And presumably it's like, okay, so like I've countered your last move of your turn, so now you're tapped out. You're probably not going to be able to ever get another turn because I hope I will win on my next turn. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I still think this card is fine to run even in metas that aren't like that, like in just a slightly more casual game. This card's still okay. I remember seeing this card when I was a very You know, you can go to the dollar store and buy those like dollar packs of like those repack cards. I remember like getting one of those and seeing this card and just being like, this card's terrible. It draws them 2 cards, and then now I'm like, oh, maybe I will run one of these.
Yep.
Anyways, next of course is a counterspell. I mean,
scoop them up,
right?
Scoop them while they're cheap. They always go up. They drop and then they go back up.
Look at what they had. Go ahead.
Go to your store, buy all the ones they have at less than $1.
Yeah, if they're less than $1,
we'll use them.
You're laughing. This card's going to go right back up to $1. So if you're getting this for less than, that's a good move.
Yeah.
I don't like the art on this. Jace just exploding. Great.
Yeah.
Next we have.
Ooh, BSZ or BSZ for all you American fans. It's my favorite blue instant X draw spell. Blue Sun Zenith. X blue instant. Or no, it's my second favorite, right? Pull from Tomorrow is my new favorite.
Oh, okay.
But this one, you draw X cards. Target player. No, this is important. Target player draws X cards. Shuffle it into its owner's library. So, you could get it again. It's never in your graveyard, but we usually don't care about X cards going to the graveyard because if we ever cast from the graveyard, X's don't count anyway. So it's fine going into the deck. Target player is upside, like the fact that you have a choice. They gave us a choice when they didn't have to, so that is a choice. That is an improvement. I love this card.
Yep, real Commander classic. Whether it's drawing your own or possibly milling somebody out, if that for some reason is a thing that can happen in the game, it at least gives you that small amount of flexibility.
If a Nekusar's out, you might punish someone else for it.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, Blue Sun Zenith is just a solid draw spell. Love it. Next is Flash. This is a cool reprint. 1 and a blue for an instant that says you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost reduced by up to 2. Generic.
Right.
So you can pay for Flash, 1 and a blue, and then pay, like, if it's 6 mana, you can then pay 4 mana, but you're still paying the total mana. It's just that you're now able to do it at instant speed.
Right. And if you are running any sort of graveyard deck, you get whatever bonkers ETB ability it has for 2, and then it goes right to the graveyard, and then you can reanimate it however you want.
And you don't pay the mana cost, and then it just dies. Yeah. So Flash is a very powerful card, mixed with certain other cards that are also reprinted in this set and are now legally available in Commander. Yeah. Just go look at that competitive EDH subreddit. You'll see them talking about this card and its best buddy, a lot lately. But you know what? I think even if you're not looking for some crazy broken combo, I still think this card is actually quite good.
I think it's fun.
Yeah. So specific things you want to use it for, but still, it's this card's banned in Legacy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a powerful card. And restricted in Vintage. Wow. Okay.
Right. Yeah, interesting.
So Flash is a big card. Find your ways to have fun with it.
Let's talk about Freed from the Real. This is a 2 blue enchant creature, and it gives it 2 abilities. Both cost blue. Either blue tap enchanted creature or blue untap enchanted creature. This is a very useful aura that will go on a lot of... You'll know it if you want this, right? If you've got a crazy ability for tapping in a blue deck, you can just continually untap it and just do this a ton.
Yeah, this is a card that goes infinite with some cards that produce mana.
Yep.
Freed from the Real, and there's another card that does a similar thing called Pemen's Aura, I believe. Yeah, it'll do something similar. But the ping single blue to untap one of your own creatures is very, very powerful, and like I said, does go infinite a lot of times. But being able to once in a while in a pinch use this as a removal spell for something that's going to attack and kill you by paying 1 blue to tap it is also a possibility. Although I think if you're doing that, you must have been pretty desperate. Really, you want this on your own creature and abusing a tap ability.
Agreed.
But this is a great card. I actually have trouble finding this card sometimes. I think maybe it's only had 1 printing before. Yeah, it was a Kamigawa. Saviors of Kamigawa only. So it's a much needed reprint, so we're happy to see it.
Great.
Next is Reef Worm. Speaking of
Yeah.
only cards with only one printing before, 3 and a blue for a creature worm, a worm, a worm. There's a really
That
funny,
inside joke would take too long to explain right
there's a
now.
YouTube clip of somebody on the Fear Factor like show, and she keeps going a worm. Anyways, it's really funny. So it's a 0/1, but when Reform dies, you put a 3/3 blue fish creature token on the battlefield with. When this creature dies, put a 6/6 blue whale creature token onto the battlefield with. When this creature dies, put a 9/9 blue kraken creature token onto the battlefield. So, in the right sack deck, this can immediately become a 4-mana 9/9 kraken just with free sack outlets sort of thing.
Yeah.
But also is just a nice thing to have down to help with when wraths happen, you get the first creature back, all that sort of stuff. So
Makes it real tough you got to real go hunting for those tokens.
I remember when this was printed in the Commander, 2015? Is that what it is?
The mono blue.
2014. So this was in the mono blue deck. This was like one of my favorite cards that was in that set because it's just so interesting, and like it's also the fact that it's a blue creature is like you'd expect this on maybe like a green creature or maybe even a black creature or something, but like the fact that it's on blue I thought was fun. So
yeah,
neat.
Okay, moving on. And then so here's a card in blue that is reprint that we never talk about. But if you're a competitive Commander player at all, this is going to drop in price for you. This is in Modern. This is in a lot of formats. It's Pact of Negation. It's an instant that costs nothing. It says counter target spell. At the beginning of your next upkeep, pay 3 blue. If you don't, you lose the game. So, I mean, if you open one of these, I'd say run it. Like, it's the ultimate, because, like, we don't have any of these in our meta. So a lot of times people would be like, hey, does anyone have any blue open? And then like you're like, or are you tapped out, blue player? And it's like, yes, I am. So it's like, okay, then I'll do all my stuff. But like Pact of Negation is just the ultimate. Is like, yes, I am all tapped out. It's like, so
You just better hope that somebody in between you doesn't have Armageddon.
yes. True.
But yeah, Pact is obviously a very powerful counterspell that is run definitely in those more competitive metas because you need to stop the combo player even when you don't have any mana open sometimes. But this is getting a nice price drop down from about that $30 down to like 15. So like we were saying earlier, with some of those commanders that are dropping down, Pact is also enjoying a nice price drop. So if you were eyeing one of these before, now is probably the time, because I think this is just going to go right back up to where it was, at least a little bit, right?
Yep.
Cool. Let's move on to black. First card in black is Dirge of the Dread. Dirge of the Dread. 2 and a black for a sorcery that says all creatures gain fear until end of turn. And it has cycling for 1 and a black that says when you cycle Dirge of Dread, you may have target creature gain fear until end of turn. Wait, why am I reading this card?
Because I feel like if you're not running blue and you do a lot of attacking, this is a decent... It's nice to know that you have a good way of getting a lot of damage through, right? Giving your whole team fear is pretty significant. And the word, I mean, it is a sorcery, so it has to be on your turn. But it also cycles. I think, like, if you're in an attacking deck, if your opponents are not running artifact or black, then it's basically gives your whole team unblockable.
Yeah, what do you mean if you're not running blue? Oh, just
because blue has easier ways of doing that.
Unblockable. Like I'd say green does too, kind of, right? With like overrun effects, like are basically going to be the same thing as this.
Yeah, an overrun's the same thing. Yeah, it's like I suppose it's just like I just pointed out because you'll know it if you want it. If you're the kind of deck that could want this sort of thing, and this is a very good version of what black gets for that.
I'll tell you what, I definitely put this in a deck that cared about cycling.
Oh sure,
like in a black blue cycling style deck or something like that. That'd be fun.
Arguably, if you have a Voltron-y thing that uses black, like to cycle it, draw a card and give your Voltron commander fear until end of turn could be very effective.
Sure. What's next?
Okay, we got Fallen Angel. Again, any card that says sacrifice a creature without another cost, we have to look at. So 3 black for a 3/3 flying angel. Sacrifice a creature. Fallen Angel gets +2/+1 until end of turn. This is a free sack outlet on a fairly significant offensive threat.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can like +2/+1 is a lot of power for sacking a creature. So it is probably pretty easy to threaten a kill with Fallen Angel alone.
Yeah. I mean, she can get. I mean, that after that first sack, that's a 5/4. I mean, it's not too. That's not too far from sometimes just being able to end a game if you got a bunch of tokens or something.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Hell's Caretaker, which is it's showing the whiteboarder version. Hell's Caretaker is 3 and a black. We've actually talked about this guy on the show before, I think.
Yeah.
3 and a black for a 1/1, and it's a horror that says tap and sacrifice a creature. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only during your upkeep. The fact that it's on your upkeep obviously is a bit restricting, and you can't do it at instant speed, so that kind of stinks. But the fact that it's simply tapping and sacking a creature, which in a pinch you can sacrifice Hell's Caretaker, because it's not another creature, so you can reanimate simply by doing that. But you can also do, if you get something on there that's like an untap. I mean, you can still do this multiple times in your upkeep, because it's instant speed in your upkeep. It doesn't say you can't, right? So, but I like this card. It is not like maybe not as good as some other reanimation spells, but the fact that it's repeatable, I think makes it an include in a lot of decks. And it's on a creature, so it itself can be reanimated, which is great.
Yep. I just want to, Candy, can you click the Chronicles version for our possible bad art deck?
Okay. Ooh, yep. Looks like someone spilled some paint. What did you do, man? Well, I had a drawing of like a cool demon, and then my mom spilled tomato soup all over my drawing.
It's like some guy just wakes up with a phone call and is like, "Hey, man." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Where are you?" It's like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "You need to bring your Hell's Caretaker art to the Wizards headquarters today for printing." It's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there in half an hour." And it's not even done. Like he just like, "Oh, okay, good."
Oh yeah, sure, this looks fine. Yeah, whatever. Just get it in there. Get it in.
Yeah, he did it on the bus. He did his homework on the bus on the way to school.
Oh man, yeah. I've been seeing a lot of people asking for like a return to, because we're going to Dominaria next. We've got this Masters 25 set. There's a lot of nostalgia coming back into Magic over the next few months. A lot of people are calling for like, hey, like it would be nice if we had a return to like more abstract art styles and things like that. And I mean, that sounds interesting. I'm not necessarily against that, but a lot of times abstract art is also like super brutal art. So, I mean, maybe that's not even a reason to avoid it necessarily, but I don't know. There's a lot of bad art in Magic that someone's like, well, it's abstract. Yeah, it's also garbage. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So moving on to a card with good art.
Oh yes, this is okay. This is one of my favorite cards to see reprinted this set.
Why don't you take it then?
Sure. Okay. Living Death, 3 black. It's a sorcery that says each player exiles all creature cards from his or her graveyard, then sacrifices all creatures he or she controls, then puts all cards they control. They exile this way onto the battlefield. So basically, you're just doing a big swap. You're taking all the creature cards you have in your graveyard. You're going to put those on the battlefield. You're going to take all the ones from your battlefield and put them in your graveyard. They just have this weird exiling step to make the trading work, I guess, with the rules. But Living Death is a classically powerful commander card. I don't know if it's people running it in other formats. I have no idea. All I know is that whenever you get this cast in Commander, it's very, very good. If you remember the Duretti episode we did a little while ago, I talked about Scrap Mastery and how incredibly powerful that card is, and that does it for artifacts. So you get rid of everyone's, like, you pick the timing on these cards, which is so important because they might get some stuff back from their graveyard, but you can probably set it up where you like do your thing, like attack or whatever, sacrifice then your entire board, and then bring out every creature card you've had in that game. While if someone else who has a full board, who looks like they're ready to basically win the game, will have to sacrifice everything they have and then just replace it with the 2 or 3 like sort of utility creatures that you killed earlier in the game. They get their burnished heart back or something. You know what I mean? So,
Right, right. Beware of the opponent who holds up a sack outlet, because they'll sack everything in response to you casting it, and then they will get all of them back. But this is also why it's important to have instant speed graveyard hate.
Yep.
So if they decide to do that, they're in a very important decision. It's like, do I sack everything to get it eliminated? Do I just let this go through? I don't know.
Yeah, but the like sort of downside to the fact that it happens to everybody else, like you will almost always be able to engineer this card to make it be entirely worth it for you, and oftentimes just maybe even win the game when you cast it.
Yeah, I like that.
This card's really, really good. Very, very powerful.
Cool.
And it was kind of expensive before. Well, that's not super expensive, like $5 or $6, but now this version's available for like $2 or $3. So that's great.
Yeah, moving on. Another free sack outlet. We love having these. Phyrexian Ghoul, 2 and a black, zombie, 2/2. Sack a creature, gets +2/+2 till end of turn. It doesn't fly like Fallen Angel, but it's a zombie, so if you care about zombies, this is a fine sack outlet to include in that deck.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you included this actually, because free sack outlets are something zombie decks really want. And I don't know if this is the only one, but this is one where it's also a zombie, so you can often reanimate it easily in those decks that care about zombies. So
yeah,
because I think the other ones are like vampires.
A lot of vampires.
Yeah,
do it.
There's a lot of vampires that do it for free. I think there's even there's some humans that do it for free. So it's nice that this guy's a zombie for those zombie decks out there.
Yeah.
You want to take Phyrexian Obliterator too?
Oh, sure. Phyrexian Obliterator is a card that was like 25 plus forever. It's still pricey, but in a mono black deck, it's strong. Black. Doesn't have any generic mana. It's just all black. It's a 5/5 trample. That's very good rate for just 4 if you're mono black. Whenever a source deals damage to Phyrexian Obliterator, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents. Oof. It's a very strong card. No one can resolve a blasphemous act when this is on the table.
Rough.
It's like sack 13 permanents. Oh no. Yeah. Not so like super strong, but only good in mono black decks, but very good as just in general. It's a super strong card, super expensive. If you really want one, now's the time.
Yeah, it's like $17 or something still though. That's I didn't know this card was that expensive.
Yeah, very pricey.
Very pricey and a fun card to run. Not fun to play against, though. And next, we also get a fun little reprint of Nile Spellbomb, which is a very good little graveyard hate card. 1 mana for an artifact that says tap, sacrifice Nile Spellbomb, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Great. And then also, when it's put into the battlefield, when it's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay black, and if you do, draw a card.
Yep.
I think this is one of the better target player mass graveyard removal spells. I think it's really good, especially in an artifact deck where you can abuse it and bring it back and stuff. This is a reason. So it's like you start off with Living Death is the reason to run instant speed graveyard removal or graveyard exiling, and then if you're in that deck though, this is the reason to run the cards that make you hexproof.
Yes.
As a graveyard player, running stuff like a Witchbane Orb is
Orbs of Warding.
And the Orbs of Warding, that's the one I was looking for. So Witchbane Orb does it too, but Orbs of Warding is even better because it gives you hexproof and also prevents 1 damage from sources or something like that.
Which has come up.
It's annoying. It's very annoying to play against.
Goblin Bombardment doesn't work on you because every time you take damage, you take 1 away. Yeah.
Nekisar doesn't work against you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely in my graveyard decks, I'm always running at least 2 things that make me hexproof.
Yeah.
Great.
I also so this is Nile Spellbomb. I want them to invent Fraser
Spellbomb. I knew you were going to say that. Niles Spellbomb. Oh, honestly, Niles.
Yeah, when someone exiles your graveyard with this, you have to do your Fraser.
You have to do your Fraser and say, "Oh, honestly, Nile Spellbomb."
Love it.
Okay, on to red.
Before we get deep, red does not get very many interesting commander cards, and I think that because as a draft set, it was primed to be very aggressive. And we generally don't care about like super aggressive, like cheap, efficient vanilla creatures and stuff like that.
And the other
Not generally.
formats too, right? Like there's a lot of good modern reprints in this set, and obviously modern doesn't care about big commander, stupid things like that. So it's going to want those cards. So yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
but we do get Humble Defector. 1 in a red, human rogue, 2/1. Tap. Draw 2 cards. Target opponent gains control of Humble Defector. Activate this only during your turn. So you can't instant speed draw cards, but this is a great political card because we often play multiplayer, and you don't have to give it to your biggest opponent. In fact, you would never. You would give it to someone to forge a bit of an alliance with them. You can kind of keep trading it back and forth and drawing extra cards and teaming up on the big guy.
I am convinced this card is very good.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen where 2 players just keep trading it back. And I mean, obviously, a board wipe takes care of it, but you don't really ever want to expel like real removal on this thing. Like you just,
I mean, it's worth it. That card, if you're not on the team, if you're not on the
exactly, yeah,
the power team,
it is worth it. And it creates fun things because it's a trust thing. So like you can show a player that you trust them and like, okay, here I'm giving you my Humble Defector, right? You give it back to me. Well, we got a little bit of a thing going on here, but then you can double cross a person and give it to someone else, and then all of a sudden it's out of their hands. What do they do?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah,
it's so fun.
It's great. It really is good. And then if you get it going back and forth between people, you're just drawing a lot of cards that way. It's awesome.
Yep.
I like Humble Defector. Izzet Chemister is an interesting little card. 2 in a red. It was reprinted in the most recent Commander set.
It was invented then.
Oh, it was invented then.
Yeah, this card has only been around.
Oh yeah, you're right. Look at
while.
that. You make the cube is the other thing. So 2 in a red, Goblin Wizard. It's a 1/3 with haste. Pay red, tap, exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. And then 1 in a red, tap, sacrifice Izzet Chemister, cast any number of cards exiled with Izzet Chemister without paying their mana costs.
This is really tricky.
Interesting.
It's such an interesting card, but you have to tap it to use him. So presumably he just sits around exiling instants or sorceries from your graveyard at your last opponent's end step. And you just wait and you pull the trigger when someone tries to destroy it, or when you can use those spells to win. It is a very cheap way to get back like a 9 mana spell. Like, so on your end step, I'll pay a red, exile it. On my turn, I'll pay 2 and cast an 8 or 9 mana spell. And presumably, if people let it live, you can exile another 9 mana spell and just always be ready. It just seems like it takes forever. I've never run this card, but I'm intrigued. I'm deeply intrigued. But it would take forever for you to want to pull the trigger on it. I'm not sure.
Well, Freed from the Real is in this set, and I think that's a bit of a clue, right? Like if you've ever played a wizard deck, you'll know that a lot of wizards tap, right? And it's a big time tapping and untapping deck. So if you're in these colors with it, like I know there's a good Bant Wizards list. There's a good even just blue-white Wizards, as we saw with the Commander 2017 decks. We saw Grixis Wizards. So blue and blue-red has always been a good like I know Josh's Tim deck that he always talks about is it still Teamer? I don't know, but it was Teamer. Yeah, I think it is. It's Teamer. So he even kind of takes it another little direction. He includes green in there. So wizards are a very versatile, as far as colors go, tribe. And they have, it's not even necessarily tribal synergies that they have. It's just that they have this other synergy where they tap. They all want to tap and untap. And sometimes they do care about wizards. So I think this guy is... I don't know if I was excited about this card when I first saw it, but now I'm like, I think this card's really good. And you wouldn't even need to put it in a wizard deck. Like this is just kind of good in those like spell slinging decks.
It's got a ton of potential. I can't think of any decks right now where I desperately want it. I think you have to build a deck around it, sort of. Like maybe like a Jaleva deck where you're just dumping huge spells into the graveyard as a way to cheat those out.
And think about it. Even if you use your Izzet Chemister, right? Okay, you've only got one of those big spells in. Let's say you've got a 6 mana spell, so not even something so crazy. But like Recurring Insight, okay? So it's Recurring Insight. I think is a 4/2 blue, and it's you draw cards equal to the number of cards in target player's hand. So it
Yeah.
usually draws you like 3, 4, maybe more cards.
And it's got rebound.
It has rebound, which is sick.
Yeah.
But even that aside, so like you get your Is it Chemistry? It has haste, so it can do it the turn it comes in. You bring it in, you exile that card, and then if someone even removes it, it's like, well, big deal. Like it's not like you really lost out. You exile the card from your graveyard. So I guess that's kind of a downside. So you can't recast it another way. But other than that, like you might even just be happy to go, okay, great. I untap with it. Now I'm going to pay 1 in a red, tap and sack this guy to draw 3 or 4 cards or whatever. Like that's like, you don't need to get greedy with this card. And I think that's where I look at it and go, ooh, we can really get a lot of value if we keep doing it. And it's like, but if you keep doing it, the more you do that, the more someone's just going to be holding up that Swords of Plowshares and just waiting for you to tap it to exile and just go, okay, now you're done.
Yeah.
So even just one good spell, I think is worth it for Is It Chemistry though.
I think so too. I think if that's how we look at this card's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Okay, and then of course with any untapping, it gets really wild because then you can sort of exile a bunch of them at will and be able to cast them still. Cool. There's one more good red reprint here. Why don't you read this one?
Magus of the Wheel, 2 in a red, human wizard 3/3, 1 in a red, tap, sacrifice Magus of the Wheel. Each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards. So this is Wheel of Fortune on a Magus. They never had this before. They invented it for Commander 2015, and it's never been reprinted. So it kind of crept up there because it's very useful. And now it's going to get a nice little price drop.
Yep, this one will be around $2 to $3, and it was I think around 6 or 7 before. So I was about to include it. I think I took it out last second in a build we recently did. So it's nice to see this guy get a price drop.
Good.
Cool. All right, let's get into green.
Vert. Green got a ton of cards.
Oh yeah.
Green is doing very strong. First off, Courser of Crufix. 1 green, 2/4 Centaur. Play with it. It's an enchantment creature, counts as an enchantment. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library if it's a land card. Whenever a land enters, you gain 1 life. So if the top of your library is revealed, everyone can see what you got coming. And that's sometimes bad, but sometimes you don't even care because it's just like, well,
it's a downside, certainly.
It's a downside. But being able to play lands off the top of your library means you don't draw it next turn. Mm-hmm. So you'll draw something hopefully better.
I love that this and Azusa are in the same set. Like imagine you did end up getting them. That would be very fun.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I don't know. Course is great. There's a lot of times where we've worked decks around just the ability to include this card because it was a couple bucks. Where it's like, well, you know what? This is the most expensive card in the deck, but it's good enough that you want it. So it's nice to see it get a reprint.
Drop it down.
Another one that's always happy to see a reprint is Cultivate, 2 and a green for the Commander Classic. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards. Put 1 onto the battlefield tapped and 1 into your hand. Shuffle your library.
Right.
Yeah, All-Star, Mana Fixer, Mana Ramper. You gotta have it. It's great. So this will kind of perennially get up to around $1 or so, and then gets a reprint and comes back down for a while. So that's great. We're happy to see it.
Love it. We also get a reprint of Elvish Piper, 3 and a green for an Elf Shaman, 1/1, with a very strong ability. Green, tap. Put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. It was creeping up to $6, $7, $8. Now it's about half now, and it could drop a little bit further. So, I think if it gets down to under 3, probably grab a couple, just because you're gonna want it in a deck.
Yeah, this is a card that's had a lot of reprints that has stayed around the same price, so I think it's going to be pretty safe to assume that this price will climb back up to around where it was before. It had a 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th edition printing, as well as Magic 2010 and Urza's Destiny, which is where it was originally printed.
So there was a stretch of 4 or 5 years where they just printed it every year.
Yeah.
In the core set.
Yeah.
Without fail. And it's still up to $6, $7. That's how good this card is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I remember always really wanting this for my Mail. I still don't know how to say that card. Mael, Anima, whatever deck. So I I've already ordered one of these for that because I
Nice.
think that it's just going to rebound right back up to $6-7 again.
Yeah, no doubt.
Next we have Fierce Empath, which, speaking of that deck, this is a great card in that deck. Two in a green for a 1/1. Elf says, when Fierce Empath enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 6 or greater, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. So it tutors for a big creature, which is sometimes can be a combo piece even, or just a Crater Hoof or something similar to help you win the game on that next turn.
I mean, our format's all about 6 drops, right?
Definitely.
So, great. This card is only going to get you good stuff that you want.
And does this guy live on the creature? Like, are those the creature's hairs or something? They are.
Do you know what? This was a discussion that happened on Twitter. I forget the resolution of it. Or either that, or we were talking about how we were making fun of his weird feet.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at the new art from Master 25, it looks more like trees and less like hair.
Oh yeah.
Because they're the direction trees go instead of his old art where there was the direction they only go sideways.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, fine. It was trees, it turns out. Turns out it was trees the whole time.
Yes. M. Night Shyamalan.
What's next here?
Kavu Predator. I never really heard of this card before. I guess I never registered it if I did even read it. It's 1 and a green for a Kavu 2/2 trample. Whenever an opponent gains life, put that many +1/+1 encounters on Kavu Predator. This is a card where you're going to want to look at your meta and ask yourself, do you ever see players with 100+ life? If so, throw one of these in.
It's got trample, native trample, which makes it.
Do you play against a Loro? Is there an Loro in your meta?
Oh, wow, yeah. Wow, yep. Yeah, Kavu Predator, he can get pretty big. Also, +1/+1 counters deck might just be worth it in there, just as general as well, right?
Sure.
Next, we have Master of the Wild Hunt. This guy is a favorite of mine. Another card that was getting up there in price, and this is bringing it down to a nice, affordable, like $4 or $5. 2 and 2 green for a 3/3 human shaman. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield, and then you can tap them and tap all untapped wolf creatures you control. Each wolf tapped this way deals damage equal to its power to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power divided as its controller chooses among any number of those wolves.
Its controller chooses.
Mm-hmm. So you pick how the wolves, like which creature the wolves attack, and then you also pick.
No, you don't. That creature picks how they hit the wolves.
And then that creature picks how they hit the wolves. So I mean, it's it's always going to work out that you lose.
It's how it makes sense.
A bunch of the wolves. It just makes sense of just think of how combat works. It's basically
if you were in the middle of a snowy forest and 3 wolves came down on you, you would choose to fight them however you want.
Yeah, I will fight these wolves how I choose to fight them. It's like, no, the wolves decided I need to use karate, and I don't know how to use karate.
Well, how did the wolves even know what karate is?
And how are they making me do this? But the weirdest thing about Master of the Wild Hunt is that this guy's not legendary. He's not a legendary creature, which it feels like he should be. Look at that ability. What were they thinking?
Yeah.
This guy's begging to be a commander for sure.
Kinda, right?
He would be an amazing wolf commander. Wolf tribal. But, he's not. But it's still an awesome card, whether it's tokens or werewolves even can be good with this guy because a lot of wolf tokens care about werewolves as well and that kind of thing. So anyways, yeah, great card. Happy to see it come down, way down in price. Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit slow for more spiky metas, but I think this guy's great.
Yeah. Okay.
And this one.
Big reprint, Protein Hulk. This is 5 green, and it reads, when Protean Hulk dies, search your library for any number of creature cards with total converted mana cost 6 or less, then put them onto the battlefield, shuffle your library. So this is a 7 mana creature that when it dies, you get to tutor up 6 mana worth of creatures. This is potentially infinite combos. This card was banned for a long time, and it was recently unbanned. And when it did, it shot up in price. And it has settled a little bit, but this reprinting will make it settle much further. So if you're just like, I just want one to see if I can break it, you can. Go ahead.
You can, and now you really can. I like that you could you could argue that should be pronounced protein Hulk, sort of,
Protein Hulk. Yeah,
right?
man.
And then the flavor text is meat and eggs we eat.
That's protein.
That's protein, man. Borborygmos knows what he's talking about. This is the card with Flash, obviously. Flash Hulk is a big thing. Competitive EDH wants to do that a lot. It looks like. As far as our like kind of style of play going, I think this is still a fun card to play with. Just like fair stuff, right? Like just to get the value from it, as opposed to tutoring for some crazy combo to just win you the game. Of course, you can do that when you cast your Protean Hulk. But we talked about this guy on the Command Zone episode that's coming out this week. Might already be out by the time you're listening to this. But it's the Commander Summit that we recorded down there when I was in LA. We basically talked about like this guy's been unbanned, what's been the impact on Commander, and personally, and I know in our meta we haven't really seen this card yet. No one's really rushed out to get it and tried to abuse it or anything. So I guess that will make me the first person because I ordered one already.
Butler owns one.
Does he?
One because he bought it not realizing it was banned. So he bought one for super cheap.
Oh, that was smart.
That was not smart. It was it was lucky.
If you knew what you were doing and you knew it was going to be unbanned, smart. You're right, super lucky. But yeah, this I think this guy can just be a fun value creature in a like a sacrifice graveyard style deck. So, but he can also be way better than that. Anyways, Protean Hulk. I'm happy to see it reprinted, though. Although, will that mean it's going to ruin more Commander metas and become banned again? Possibly.
I think in Obzon it's easy. I think every color wedge or shard has a way to do this as an infinite win.
I did get it for my Carador deck, so.
Yeah, so there you go. The easiest one right there.
Yeah. We'll report back once I play a little bit with that deck again. Although every time I bring that deck out, it becomes a game of arch enemy, and
So that's how it should be, and it's one of the few decks where we recognize its power, right? In our meta, there's a lot of decks that were like, "Hey, how come we're not all going after this guy right now?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know." And it's like, we gotta do it.
Carador is a deck that's been around long enough that everyone knows now.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Anyways, finally,
that's it for green.
Yeah, that's it for green. And
let's move on to multicolor cards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this one's good.
Pernicious Deed, 1 black, green, enchantment. And for the ability X, sacrifice Pernicious Deed, destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with converted mana cost X or less. I thought this card was like $10+ for some reason. In my mind, I hadn't even thought about it for running. But turns out it was only like $5 or $6, and now it's dropping to like $2 or $3. Excellent card. Super strong.
I also did not know that this card was only $5.
Yeah.
I feel like when I first was again new to Magic, when I first built that Carador deck, everyone was like, you got to put Pernicious Deed in, it's a great card. And I remember looking at it being like, ooh, too expensive. But maybe
do you think our budget's just adjusted, like where we used to think $6 was way too expensive and now we're like, maybe 6 is okay?
I think so. I think it must have.
We're getting rich. We're a rich Commander player.
I keep thinking Pernicious Deed is too expensive. It's like $5. Well, I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, but it is at the point where like, am I going to buy one? Is it worth spending the $5 or $6, or am I just going to get a similar effect? Which I remember at the time I had Gaze of Granite, which is kind of a similar effect. So I was like, you know what? I'll just run this. This is fine. But the fact that this is now going to be around $2-3 or whatever is great, because the previous printing it was in Conspiracy and it was Mythic, which I think.
I guess that's what brought it down.
Yeah. But it's still Mythic, right? Like it's Mythic in a set that barely anyone drafts, really. So I'm much happier to see it become a rare, and maybe even, I mean, who knows, the floor on this could be even lower than we think. So.
Wow, the floor. Oh, the price floor? No,
price floor, not the...
We can't do that. We can't do the price. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. The price floor is someone doesn't know about currency and barters it for a sunflower
for
seed.
Like calories. How much they can ingest and get the energy out of. That's their currency. So they
Yeah.
a magic card has 3 calories in it or something. So they, yeah.
That seems like a lot. I bet you it's less than
Oh, it's
calories.
got to be 0, right?
I think it's like all fiber, no calories.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Okay, Pernicious Deed, and then another good reprint that we're looking at in Multicolor's Vindicate.
uh,
1 white, black for the sorcery that says destroy target permanent. Simple.
yeah.
Only downside is the fact that it is a sorcery. Otherwise, this is a super powerful card. Permanent, being able to destroy permanents is just, obviously this is super versatile.
Yeah, this
Planeswalkers,
card used
creatures,
to be
lands,
like
whatever.
very expensive.
Yeah, and it's seen a couple reprints now, right? It was an Iconic Masters.
Well, I think
Um,
what brought the price down is they've printed a couple of instant speeds that exile target permanent in these colors that are just better now. Like I think this is no longer the best card of what it does.
Anguish Unmaking, right?
Yeah,
Is the
it's
one.
instant exile, lose 3 life.
Mhm.
Like, which is like, yeah, I'll take that. Those two upsides outweigh that 3 life penalty by a mile.
Yeah, we also have Utter End, obviously, which is the 4 mana version where you don't have to lose any life for it.
And still exile.
Still exile.
This is destroy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a real drawback in our format.
So this is down to like under $4 the Masters 25 printing is, and this one I would expect to maybe even go a little lower. Although like I guess those are judge versions. So like the Apocalypse one is $6, but that was way more before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I like though that it's being reprinted with the original TIE Fighter art.
Yes, that's my favorite part of it. Hey, that weird TIE fighter.
Like, is it a Thopter? What is it? And what is it even destroying? Maybe something. Don't mourn for me. This is my destiny. Gerard. Oh, is that like the Weatherlight or something? Anyways, it doesn't matter. Vindicate's back, and it's still a good card, though, despite the fact that it doesn't exile and isn't instant. Like, it's still good. You'll still want to run a Vindicate if you have it.
Yep.
And usually at the end of the set, we'll talk about Planeswalkers, but Jace the Mind Sculptor is the only one in this in this set, and we don't really need to talk about that because it is a card that you are you ever going to pay $150 for this card for Commander? I don't know. Some people will, I guess, but I don't even think it's all that good in Commander. It's fine. I don't know. This is obviously this is an all-time, like, this is an iconic master. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is like the most famous like modern era Magic card I think that there is.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, I mean, there's nothing we can say about this that hasn't been said in 100 other places. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
And obviously, it doesn't fit anywhere close to our budget. This is 3 times our entire budget for decks on the show.
Yeah.
2 times, I guess, if you can find it. Apparently the Masters 25 version is about $100.
So if you have a copy of Jace the Mind Sculptor and cut it into 3 slices,
well, two.
Okay, so let's say 2. So just like the picture half. Just the picture half is that's a whole deck for us.
That's a whole Commander's Brew deck, yeah.
You open your whole like deck box and just pull out a cut in half Jace the Mind Sculptor. This is all my budget.
So yeah, I mean, there you go. That's the set. That's Masters 25. A lot of good reprints for a lot of obviously the competitive your moderns, your legacies. I'm sure there's some good stuff in there. But surprisingly, perhaps not surprisingly, there's actually a very good amount of sweet Commander reprints in here, as we just sort of went through. So
yeah, man, lots of little scoopables. Take a look at the uncommons and commons. Those are where you're going to find a lot of cards that were like $2-3 that will drop to like 50 cents or $1, something like that. Grab them up. A lot of utility stuff in there. I know Wizards please about Greaves, but get them Swiftfoot boots.
Freed from the Real might be the card I'm most excited to see reprinted.
Yeah.
Just because it was hard to get, and it wasn't even expensive, really. It might have been $1 or $2, but now it's even less and it's way more available. Like, that's what I like these sets for. And as always, I want to say go out and support the company and buy but like these packs are going to be like $10 or more. It's too much for me. I just wait and buy the singles always.
Always buy the singles. It's like, it's the lottery, right? Like, there are certainly a few cards in here like that are worth many packs, right?
For sure.
Value.
Yeah.
But what are the chances of you opening them? Yeah, like, so we always knew this. We'll just reiterate. It is not good to hope to open what you want to open in packs. It is always cheaper to just buy the things you want.
Yeah. Okay, so I just did this. Let's just do this for you before we end here. What are the card or cards that you're the most excited about that are reprinted here?
Ooh, Moses, like, can you go first?
Okay, so I'm gonna say I said Freed from the Real, but I do have another one. I am also super excited about Living Death because again, it's a card I've always on the lookout for. It seems to always get snatched up right before I can pick it up, and the fact that it's going to get a little bit of a price drop is also just icing, just a little bit of icing on that cake, a little cherry on top. I'm very pleased about both of those cards. We'll see how I end up using Protean Hulk, if I end up even keeping it in that deck. Maybe the temptation to wreck it will be too much, but that might be a third place.
Okay, I got mine. I think I'm gonna go Magus of the Wheel.
Ah, yes.
That's mine.
Yeah.
I do love playing red decks. I love that sort of thing. I got a couple of decks brewing that want that sort of effect. Wheel of Fortune is way out of the price range, but Magus, come on, Magus, come on home.
Come on, Magus. Does this guy go in Neheb at all, you think?
Yeah, I think Neheb, because it draws you back up to 7.
Right, yeah.
Right? So, like, and that's one of the problems in a mono red. I think it's also good in those decks that want that Nekusar-ish type of things, that want players to draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, super good.
Cool. Well, yeah, let us know what your favorite reprints are from this set. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on YouTube in the comments. Also, if you are a patron or would like to become a patron, head over to patreon.com and you can join our Discord chat right from our base level of support. And get in on that, talk about any new decks we're brewing, talk about upcoming shows, and then sometimes just get in there and talk about life, man. Get in there and chat with your other fellow Commander players and have a good time.
Oh, so fun.
Cool. Well, that's the episode. That's the M Masters 25, and we'll be right back with a Brews news segment coming up. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brews News. I'm Andy.
And I'm Sean. And now, some guided meditation with Baral, Chief of Compliance. Hello. Welcome to some guided meditation with me, Baral, Chief of Compliance. We have our days. We get stressed out. It is important to remember to have some guided meditation, some mindfulness to take the stress away. Comply. So, all of us together, I want us all to breathe in together. Comply. And breathe out together. Comply. Comply. Good. Comply. Now, close your eyes. But also keep watching because it's YouTube. And then think of a nice place. Waterfalls, palm trees. Comply. Comply. Streets, peaceful beaches. Comply. Comply. Now breathe. Put away all other sounds. If you hear the sounds of the room, that's okay. Let them in and let them out. Comply. 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 Namaste, comply. Comply. Namaste. Now, it's important to have a word that we will meditate on to have you go about your day with this new energy, with this positivity. What should that word be? What's a good word? Comply. Comply, please. Okay. Now, breathe out all of the negative energy. Comply. And breathe in light. Vision the light filling you up. Comply with the light. Light complies. Is the light complying? Are you complying? Complying, okay? Is everybody complying? I'll turn this meditation around. I will shut this down if we are not complying, okay? I will shut this down. You don't think I can? You don't think I can shut this down? I will shut this down if you do not comply. Okay, comply? Namaste. Comply. Namaste, comply. And I'm going to count back from 3, and when I get to 1, we will release all the negative energy. 3, 2, 1, and comply. If you all didn't do this with me, you must rewind and watch it again and comply this time. Comply! Comply. Now go back to Andy and Shaw. Comply. Thank you, Baral. For those of you practicing along, I hope you got a little bit of relaxation out of that.
I did, and I will comply.
Ooh, it worked on Andy. Anyway, I'm all tapped out for the week. So is Andy. We'll pass the turn to you. Andy.
Comply.
Gonna hate. If you want to contact us, I'm at Sean Tabaris.
And I'm at Andy Holbone.
Send us an email at commandersbrew@gmail.com.
You can find out when we go live on Twitch if you follow us at twitch.tv.
And if you care to support us on Patreon, check us out at patreon.com.
And you can find our deck list on tappedout.net.
And if we forgot anything, commandersbrew.com.